Okay, I fully admit that I am not the most qualified person for this review. I'm not much of a musical guy, and I never saw the original musical. So just before anybody complains that I didn't like this aspect of the movie, but it's the same way in the source material. It's not like I didn't realize that. I know that a lot of the strengths and weaknesses of this movie come from the source material. I just don't care. I judge the movie based on what I saw in that 2 to 2.5 hours. I don't care if the problems are there because they're trying to be like the musical. I'm judging based on what I saw. Completely objective, having never seen the musical. Now that that's out of the way, you might have a sense that I hated this film. But actually, I thought it was okay. It's getting a lot of good responses. It seems to be getting a 70% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I think is actually pretty good considering the good movies that get bad reviews from them. The performances are really sharp. You've heard a lot probably about Meryl Streep and believe the hype about that one. She is tremendous. Anna Kendrick, I think, is one of the most underrated actresses of our time. And we saw some of her vocal talent in Pitch Perfect. We see even more of it here. And we see her portrayal of Cinderella, a kind of modern, progressive Cinderella. A fresh look, a fresh take on the character, which I think a lot of people will appreciate. Then there's Chris Pine, who, intentionally or not, is very funny as the prince. Johnny Depp turns in a good performance, but it's not as long as you would hope. Whether or not you see the movie, like even when you see the movie, you'll want more. If you didn't want more beforehand, you'll want more out of this guy, because he plays a great character. The problem I have with the film is not the music or the choreography or the performances. Those are all good. If this movie were to have ended when I thought it was going to, I would have liked it a lot. But the last half hour, you get a false resolution and a plot twist, which sounds great on paper, but when you're watching the film, it just seems to drag on, and worse, it seems to contradict the things that you had previously seen in the first 2 acts of the movie. And that really comes down to two of the major relationships in this film. Two of the relationships have big problems in that last act. And one of them you won't mind probably as much because you never really see this relationship on screen. So for all you know, it's not like it contradicts anything because you never really saw anything. But that's the problem. You never saw anything, so when you get that twist, you don't really know how to feel about it. Worse still is another relationship where one member is unfaithful to the other, and this seems completely unmotivated, at least at this point in the film. And worse still, the truth never comes out, and yet they try to make this character angelic and kind of the vessel of the theme or the deeper meaning behind the film. And it just doesn't work. Because we know something about this character that the other character doesn't. And so for this character who was unfaithful to deliver the heart and soul of the play, the musical, whatever, just doesn't quite work for me. And that is pretty much where I think people will come down in this movie. Did you like the twist or did you not? I realize that a lot of musicals don't make much sense, so it might be unfair of me to criticize a musical for not making sense, but there were a lot of things. My fiance and I came out of that movie, and how did that just, when did they, I thought there was a lot of confusion. And so that really took us out of the experience. Still, I thought this film was okay. I don't think that it's absolutely necessary that you see it in the theater, but if you like musicals, you'll probably enjoy it. Some of you may be wondering if I'm going to put out a list of my top 10 best and worst movies of 2014. I don't know, honestly. I don't know if I've seen enough for that, but there will definitely be a top 10 anticipated movies of 2015.